Is this thing, I want to find out, is this effort by Biget restricted to Nigeria, or are there other African countries or other parts of the world that are being affected by what they are doing?
The planned genocide is restricted to Nigeria. But one has to understand, why do they need to kill the doctors? They kill the farmers because they wanted to make sure they eliminate all the seed growers in the country. So when they eliminate the seed growers, the natural seeds will never be available again. And how they did that was very simple. What they did was that they just gave 14 million cell phones to all Nigerian farmers, so they could track those people who were being paid for seeds. So when other farmers go to them, they go to buy seeds, and then they know that this person was being paid for seeds, so he's the one selling the seeds. So they now use the GPS coordinates on these so-called electronic wallets, which are just cell phones, to target all of them and eliminate them. When you eliminate the natural seed growers, there will be no other alternative to the GMO, genetically modified organisms, foods and seeds. So they brought these seeds as improved seeds. The other farmers, they drove them into IDP camps and came to these IDP camps under the different NGOs and international agencies and presented these GMO seeds. So the farmers will now leave, they will temporarily halt their military activities in those areas, so the farmers will go and resettle. When they resettle, they start planting the GMO seeds. Once you plant the GMO seeds that first time, that first seed you get from that your maize, if you eat it, that will be the last you are going to eat. Because if you take the seed from that GMO corn and plant it, it will not grow. The gene that allows replication has been switched off. So you have to go back to the person who produced the initial seed. That is, in this case in Nigeria, it will be Monsanto. They will now use them to reproduce these seeds. So these seeds are what actually makes the agricultural produce to move on. So they are using this technique to eliminate all the natural seed growers. And then when the remaining farmers don't have any other place to get seeds than to go to them, to go to them for that. Now, where do the doctors come in? The doctors come in the fact that when they capture the food security, which they actually have done now, because most of the seed growers have been killed. Just to give you an example, between 2015 and 2018, 37,500 victims were killed by Boko Haram. These were farmers. Then of these 37,500, 32,000, that's 85%, were Muslims. 5,500 were Christians. And in states like Zamfara, 60% of the victims were Hausa, 40% were Fulani. So it became clear that this has nothing to do with Islamic terrorism. It has to do with elimination of all the seed growers. Now they have eliminated the seed growers. Now they're moving into the second phase of their program. Now, when the farmers go to them, we now depend exclusively on the GMOs.
So you mean we now depend on GMOs right now?
Exactly. Because without the GMOs, you cannot really get seeds, unless we are getting seeds from different African countries and some places. Some places in the south, especially southwest, and some parts of southeast, we can still get our own seeds, because the Boko Haram have not really been infiltrated them. But they are trying to do that. So what is happening now is that they want to move into the next phase. The next phase is whereby they will have total monopoly of the seeds. And then they will tell the farmers, you want us to give you seed? Okay, we can give you seed, but on the premise that you must tell your wife and daughters to go and donate their ovarian eggs.
That's a conditional gift. No?
Conditional gift. Food, that is, if you want food, you have to donate ovarian eggs, the eggs of women. And why do they have to do that? They have to do that because the Western countries need these ovarian eggs for cloning. Nigeria is the only country in the world and in the history of the world which has legalized collection of organs without consent. So your organ, which you own, which is your person, if you go to the hospital, they can collect that organ without your consent, because it states in the National Health Act of 2014 and 2015, actually signed in 2015, states that you can actually collect that organ without consent. In section 48 and 51 of the National Health Act 2014 version of it, actually states that you can collect that organ without consent. You can collect organ and you can collect the gametes, that is the eggs of women, without consent of the patient.
That's very dangerous.
That's very dangerous, but it was allowed into law. I personally led the doctors' delegation in the National Assembly hearing, at the Senate hearing, and pointed this out before Ike Ekweremadu, before Governor, the main proponent of the law, who was Ifeanyi Okowa, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa then. Okay. And then, of course, Ngige was also, Senator Ngige then was also present at that public hearing. I pointed this out, that you cannot do this under any law, but they overruled the public hearing, and Senator Ekweremadu, who was the person who was conducting the public hearing, did not heed to all the calls by all the people present. And what happened? They passed the law with this defect. So all the people who are waiting to harvest organs, harvest eggs, are all in Nigeria. They are setting up their different NGOs. Can you explain why there is a multiplicity of NGOs in the Northeast, where there is a conflict going on?
So what I want to ask now, why is the gate focused on Nigerian doctors?
Yes.
Can you address that?
He's focused on Nigerian doctors because he now wants to harvest these eggs, and doctors are the people going to harvest these eggs. These are going to be in hospitals, but Nigerian doctors, he knows, because of our high moral standard, and I must say very high moral standard, our doctors will not do that, because our doctors know that if you keep on harvesting those eggs in those women 2 to 3 years later, they will die. Okay. They will die of liver failure, kidney failure, infections, some other complications. So we know that that's going to happen. So we're not going to do that. And when he called us, and I must say, I was physically present when Bill Gates called us through the General Electric, who he awarded the contract to build 260 hospitals in Nigeria, so that it will be at these hospitals they will be harvesting these organs and harvesting these eggs. So he will now take us out of the health sector. He invited the leaders in the private health sector and said, okay, look, I'm ready to offer you money to leave the healthcare sector. We told him before the executives of GE that he is mad and insane to demand such a thing.
To leave medical practice.
That we should leave medical practice, and then he will pay us, no matter the amount of dollars we ask for. So we said, you are mad. We are not going to do that, and to hell with you.
Is that really?
We told him off before the executives of, I was personally present. The lab people, the president and secretaries of the lab, National Organization of the Laboratory Scientists was there. The president and secretary of the community pharmacies was there. And we told him to his face, to his presence, because they were talking on, it was a telecom conference, and then the executives of General Electric were there at their headquarters in Abuja. So we told him off that you cannot do that, even with all your money and all your thing, is not going to be possible. Now, since we rejected that offer, he has moved to his second option. Okay, eliminate, kill all these doctors, and then take over the health care. And he told us they have already taken off the whole government hospitals. They bought the federal medical centers, they bought the university teaching hospitals. So what is remaining now is for us to get out of business so he can carry out